Hi, I'm Mark Toole with 8020service.com, and today's customer service video question of the day comes from Quora, and the question is a long one with a comment. Do the best managed customer service call centers focus on A, maximizing CS representatives' efficiency, or B, minimizing customers' frustration? C comment. The comment says, objective measurement of CS efficiency might include number of calls taken per day, percentage of time per day spent talking to customers, average length of call. Objective measurements related to customer frustration might include mean and median time on hold, call abandonment rate, repeat calls from same number. Hopefully you're all still with me after reading all that long question. I think that I will answer this question somewhat indirectly, and I think that probably the person asking this type of question is not going to like my answer or find it very valuable, but putting this out there anyways, hopefully I can help here. So I'm not going to say that all of these things are worthless. Some of those things are worthless, some of them aren't, but really none of those things should be the first consideration, the first priority. And this is what happens in these big conventional companies when too much specialization comes into play. When you have people who are only working in the customer service department, and their boss and his boss and his boss and his boss and everybody they've ever met up to some hypothetical person on an org chart they've never met is all in just the customer service department. They're not related to the business of sales or products or marketing or products in any or profits in any way. They're just about, let's maximize our customer service efficiency. So the fact that you would even have a question or a thought in your head, one of these other answers, the person's talking about, and this is going to get real nerdy, so I'll bring it back, but Erlanger B distributions, and this, didn't read about that, but it's something like, should people be on a call every minute of every day because that's efficient? Probably not, but obviously in these environments, some sort of efficiency is important. You don't want to have 600 people sitting around when you get one call a day, but if these companies, honestly, businesses like this, if they started getting one call a day, they would panic. They would think that's a bad thing. They would think that's a problem because their massive bureaucracy would then be threatened, as would their cushy jobs. But from an actual business perspective, if you're running any company, a small company, a big company, if you have zero or very few customer complaints every day, that's a good thing. If your customer service people aren't busy all day long, that is also a good thing. Now, you want to talk about minimizing customers' frustration? You're already assuming the worst, that this person has a problem that they can't fix, they have a question that they can't answer on their own, and you are making them pick up a phone and call a call center and probably press 47 for English or listen to an automated thing that talks to you and scream, "Representative! Representative!" as it says, "I don't understand. One moment, please, while I look that up," and plays a recording of someone typing on a keyboard because you think it's a person. This is what you're dealing with. Customer frustration. Customer frustration is assumed in a call center. If a customer has to call a call center, they're frustrated. Imagine you have a problem with, say, your cell phone company, and you can't get anything to work, and you have to call the call center. Are you sitting there thinking, oh, good, I get to call the call center. I bet this is going to be really easy and convenient and not frustrating at all, and the person I talk to will be an intelligent human being with the ability to make a decision and fix things, and this will be over in like 30 seconds. I'm looking forward to this a lot. Or are you thinking, I better block out the next hour on my calendar to listen to silly hold music interrupted with, "Your call is important to me," and eventually get a hold of somebody reading a script who doesn't care about anything, who's not allowed to make any decisions. Like, I have to go ask permission from my boss to do a simple thing, to refund your $6. Frustration is assumed when you're dealing with a call center. Now, the frustration comes from, yes, being put on hold, having to deal with these stupid messages and menus and pressing 47 for English and talking to the computer and all that stuff. And the frustration comes from low-quality customer service agents who read off scripts, who aren't allowed to think, aren't allowed to make decisions. Somebody like the people in this hypothetical question asking about efficiency, there's a team of nerds in khaki pants looking at spreadsheets and timing piss breaks and, oh, you were in the bathroom for 4 minutes today, Wanda. That's not appropriate. This is not conducive to anything resembling good customer service, good business, good environment for human beings to exist in, and unknown to most of these conventional customer service departments, people who are miserable and hate their jobs and are just afraid of being punished are going to do a worse job than people who aren't in that condition. Now, that's sort of, I'm sure there are exceptions, but a lot of the conventional way of running a call center leads to all of that. It's this desire to over-specialize, to over-standardize, that if I call this thing, my experience should be exactly the same no matter which person I get, and all the people working there should be the cheapest, lowest paid, lowest skill level, lowest IQ level people that we can get, because we're not going to pay them very much and we're not going to treat them very well, but we'll just build all this complicated system stuff to try to make them perform at the level of an acceptable human being. It's not going to work that well. Customers will be frustrated. And it ignores two main huge points that are beyond the scope of, again, like I said, over-specialized customer service call center managers. This is beyond the scope of anything they're allowed to think of or anything they've ever met, anybody they've ever met in the company thinking about this sort of thing. But why are so many customers calling a call center? That's two questions in one, really. Why do so many customers have problems that they can't solve on their own, questions they can't answer, things they can't do on their own? And why is picking up a phone and calling a call center the default option for them to get this thing resolved if they can't fix it themselves? And conventional call center managers can sit around debating about whether we should time piss breaks more or punish people for using the wrong script more, but that's really the wrong question. The right question is, how can we make as few customers as possible ever have to contact customer service about anything ever? How can we get the customer service department as small as possible, because we don't need hundreds of people sitting around repeating off the same script all day long, because we fixed those problems to begin with? How do we get the call center, ideally, completely eliminated, replaced with better means of communication like email or live chat or things like that? You do phone if you want, but, it's not the best method for anyone. Me, if I have to deal with something from a business and I have to call them on the phone, they don't give me another method, I'm automatically frustrated. So the assumption here is almost just built in that the customers will be frustrated. How do we not drive them into an insane rage where they would kill us if we weren't all in Indiana or something where they can't find us? Not how can we actually do this right, make the business run well, have happy, satisfied customers. And I'll tell you this, happy, satisfied customers don't contact customer service because they don't need to, because everything's working the way it should be, everything is what it should be, there are no problems, and their frustration never happens. Again, beyond the thought process of the conventional customer service manager, which is why I started this off by saying that this might not be very useful to the people asking the question, to the people this question is directly intended for, but I wanted to put this out here for anybody in a business, running a business. It's probably going to have to be a smaller business at this point, because these massive bureaucracies, like I said, you've never even met anyone responsible for thinking about business. You've met people responsible for thinking about the spreadsheet and the PowerPoint slide with the graph of piss break times and, oh, there's more piss breaks on a Wednesday. What kind of beverage consumption? This is the kind of crap they're optimizing there, rather than, we've had hundreds of customers calling us about the same issue today. How can we fix this so no one calls us about this issue ever again? And to the conventional call center manager or middle manager or employee, yeah, that's hypothetically a good thing. We don't want all these customers to be frustrated. But if we fixed all these problems and all these customers never had to call us, the company wouldn't need the call center. The company wouldn't need 6 layers of call center management and spreadsheet meetings about piss break times and 4,000 agents sitting in a big warehouse somewhere plugged into phones. Thank you for calling company's name. How can I help you with repeat customer's problem today, Mr. Customer's name? You don't need any of that, and that's a threat to the people making their living subsisting off of that inefficient bureaucracy. So The answer to the question directly is, I would say, if to answer the question directly, is it better to maximize representatives' efficiency or minimize customer frustration? B, minimize customer frustration. But to do a real job of that, a proper job of that, it does not start with the customer service call center. Ideally, it never makes it to the customer service call center at all. Ideally, it never makes it to any sort of customer service at all. Ideally, the customer doesn't even realize he ever had a problem because he didn't, because you fixed it. Now, at that point, efficiency is sort of an afterthought. Companies I help with customer service, companies I've run customer service for in the past and currently, generally smaller companies still, I mean, multi-million-dollar revenues, thousands of paying customers, but not thousands of customer service complaints because we built it that way on purpose. We'll generally have, maybe 1 to 3 agents working remotely, usually in the Philippines. Filipinos are great, especially for email and chat support. And most of the time, they are not. Their efficiency, if you look at these sort of metrics, would be terrible. They're sitting around most of the day with no complaints coming in, no questions, no problems, and that would look really bad to these people. And maybe, I guess it is, but what are you going to do? Have half a person? No. Only pay them for when someone complains? No. That's going to create an incentive to cause more complaints. You have someone there, essentially on call, intelligent, available, ready, waiting, terribly inefficient, taking as many piss breaks as they want, I don't care, and there to handle real customer problems when they come up to minimize that frustration. Again, to actually do this right, it goes much bigger than the conventional management structure of a big call center somewhere. So if this is the environment you're working in when you're watching this question, probably not very helpful for you. But for people in business, small business, medium business, this is the way you should think about it. And you should ignore the conventional, I guess you could call it advice that people are putting out there. If anybody ever talks to you about an Erlanger B distribution, immediately turn that off. You're moving in the wrong direction. You're moving in the piss break timing direction rather than the low maintenance profitable company direction. So that's my answer for this. I'll wrap this up here. And as always, the closing thing here, I do one of these videos every weekday on a customer service topic, taking the questions usually from Quora, and again, I post them on Quora and on YouTube, so depending where you're watching, ask me in Quora if you have a question, ask me in the comments on YouTube, like, subscribe, thumbs up, upvote, all that stuff. I also write about customer service topics regularly, both on Quora in response to questions and on the website, 8020service.com, so you can check that out if you're interested, and I will be back tomorrow with another video.